You guys are 9 minutes early. Go get another beer and come back. We'll wait for you. We'll wait for you. You got 9 minutes. Hey guys, welcome back to Tactical Rifleman. We're gonna do our Tactical Tuesday live stream. We're just gonna do it on a Wednesday. No big deal, nothing crazy. Steve, how you doing?
Doing well, KE. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with. And we got our sponsor here, Go Dark Faraday Bags. You go to godarkbags.com. Cool stuff, right? Right. Everybody's got their dry bags and everything else, but these things are legitimate Faraday bags. So I got one from my phone, which I think is badass. All right. So if you're looking to block EMF signals anywhere between 200 megahertz and 40 gigahertz, that's all your 4G, your 5G, all your Wi-Fi. If you want to be not tracked, not hacked, no unauthorized access, no location tracking at all, it also meets and exceeds the standards for that military contract for EMP protection for small portable devices. So it's kind of cool. Guys, it's being used by the military. It's being used by Department of Defense, FBI, Department of Homeland Security, State Department. They're using it. Anyways, if you're interested in checking it out, godarkbags.com. Here's why I like it, all right? I get Faraday bag, right? But Faraday bags have got they've got that shielding, right? You all have seen the shielding material. They wear out though. Here's what these guys did. This is different. It's got a felt lining, guys. So it's still 2 layers of the fabric, but it's got a felt lining, not to protect your laptop, but to protect the Faraday bag material. And I think that's brilliant. So anyways, there's a reason. I'm thinking about putting my phone in here so, you know, guys like Joe the Knife Guy can't interrupt the live stream, but then my moderators wouldn't be able to send me questions. So I guess I can't do it. I guess I got one here. I might be able to help in second hour, but not straight up. Sorry. Really bummed to be missing it. That's one of our moderators. All right. No worries, right? Because I didn't give anybody a heads up. I got tied up. I literally just rolled back into town a few hours ago. No worries. And so no big deal. You guys know I love my moderators and all the hard work that they do for us. But yeah, good stuff. You guys let me know if the sound is okay, if you guys can hear us okay. You won't be able to hear Steve until he gets done with his phone, because Steve gets busy there a little bit. You know he does. All right, well, yeah, the first question show up already. It was actually from one of our moderators. The Donut wants to know if you can suppress a minigun, and if it's ever been done. It's actually been done a bunch. I've just seen like the best one that's out right now. When 5th Group had their reunion, was it about a month ago now, Steve?
Yeah.
About a month ago, 5th Group had, they did like a mod demo, a bunch of different companies, vendors and stuff. And they had a company there that has got the latest and greatest suppressed minigun. Understand, guys, it's not so much the sound. You're not trying to suppress the sound of the minigun. You're wanting to suppress the flash. So it's still suppressors, 7.62 by 51 suppressors, but the big thing is getting rid of the flash. Think of like that AH-6 Little Bird coming in with miniguns on both sides in the dark. If they can get rid of that flash, that's a big deal, because they're already running IR tracers. The miniguns, the 1/60th use, they're not running visible tracers. I mean, they can, but a lot of times they're running IR tracers. When you're running a minigun, minigun ammo uses what's called a hard link. The link is a little bit stiffer metal, and that's because you basically got 2 motors, one on the can pushing the ammo, but the big motor is actually on the side of the gun. Besides spinning the gun, it's also pulling that 25-foot long belt of ammo, and that would stretch out those links, normal links. So they run what's called a hard link, and a minigun also only runs a tracer every 10 rounds instead of every 5 like a 240 machine gun does. And it still looks like a garden hose going off, a freaking fire hose of ammo. It really is. It's pretty impressive. So Steve, Steve actually pulled up a few videos he's got on his phone of guys shooting. You want to show him the thermal one? Just hold it up in front of the camera.
I got the other one first. This is a system that we're looking at based on a requirement that we developed with CTTSO Tiswig a while back ago. Back then, nobody could do it. And this is a company out of Nashville that's actually come up with a suppressor system to, again, as Carl said, suppress more of the flash, than the blast. So keep that in mind, because when you're the driver, when you go hot and you tell the driver you go hot, he's on nods or he's not on nods, he needs to know so he can either close his eyes, turn his nods off, so he won't get, his night vision gets blinded. See if I can get this to go. Go back. Come back up for me, baby.
Now that just looks like a regular minigun, right, guys? You don't get the big fireball, but to really appreciate it, Steve, show them the thermal one. Click on the thermal one.
Okay.
Guys, you're going to see the barrel heating up, all right? But what you're not going to see is the big, massive fireball coming out the front of the gun. I saw Kraken made a comment about they would literally heat up so fast, all right? You see how hot the barrels are, guys? The suppressors not, because it's actually moving a lot of air through there very, very quick. And you saw the flash, but you didn't see the big monster flash. You just, it's a big deal, guys. It really is. All right, so good question indeed. And that's right out of the gate. Hey, I want to let you guys know real quick when Steve gets done farting here. Hold on for a second. All right, Steve, they get it. All right, next Tuesday, that's only 6 days away, we are going to be doing our Tactical Tuesday live stream back on Tuesday, but we're going to do it at the Leatherwood Distillery in Clarksville, Tennessee. It's an old Fifth Group guy there, and anyways, you've seen us host live streams there before. That is that's this week, right? Today's the 7th. Today's the 8th? Today's the 8th. 8 November, John Rich has got a song, right? 8 November?
Yes. The
8
November, about the battle in Vietnam, the 173rd Airborne. We reviewed that and actually spent time with John Rich at his bar restaurant in Nashville on Broadway Street.
Yeah.
Redneck Riviera, and he sang the song for us.
Yep, that was cool. That was last November, guys.
8 November.
It was 8 November. All right. But anyways, if you guys are in the area, the Leatherwood Distillery, they're usually not open on Tuesdays, but we're going to have the bar open. So if you guys are in the area, you want to come and visit personally, you can be on the show. You can be in the studio audience, and it's not too much jackassery there. So it depends how much alcohol's flowing and how much of the local wildlife comes in. Sometimes they get out of control a little bit.
Distillery.
Yeah, for a reason. Yeah. So anyways, not bad at all. I had to get my phone out of my Faraday bag here. All right, I got a question just came in from Colby Dixon, 5 Bones, Steve Kama. Did you take part in developing the SOCOM profile barrel? SOCOM profile barrel. Which one is a SOCOM profile barrel?
It depends on which weapon system he's talking about. I mean, I took part.
Colby, what gun are you talking about?
Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah. You're talking about on an M4, you're talking about the SCAR system. I'm glad that puppy died. Not a big fan of the SCAR,
I'm disappointed, not in that the FN system died.
The whole point of it was to change calibers, and then they didn't change caliber.
The whole point of the SCAR, back in the day when we were doing SOCMOD Block 1, Block 2, we were doing the Mark 12 SPR and all this other stuff, General Brown was the SOCOM commander. And during one of the briefings to him about all the weapon systems, we were doing the M4A1 heavy barrel, and we were doing the M4A1 PMOD, product improvement, product modification. And he asked if anybody had any suggestions or recommendations. Of course, me, being one of the enlisted guys, I raised my hand. I said, sir, I got a recommendation. He goes, okay, what is it, Sergeant? I said, well, we keep talking about M4A1 SOCMOD, keep talking about M4A1 PMOD. I said, why don't we go away from M4A1? Why don't we just develop a whole new rifle system? And he goes, that makes sense. And when a 4-star general says, that makes sense, everything you've been doing for 3 years, you've been struggling, just changes just like that. Everybody goes, hey, we want to get with you guys. You know, now everybody wants to hug. You know, before they were like, you know, I had sucking chest wounds, you know, from just trying to push the envelope on caliber change. So anytime you start a requirement at the end user level, by the time it gets to the program office and all that bureaucracy, they take it and they grab it and now they own it. And it starts to evolve. And in my opinion, having written a requirement for what became the SCAR, what really screwed the whole pooch was Warcom came in, now Spec Warcom, yeah, Navy SEALs. They came in, they were using their EBRs, Enhanced Battle Rifle, which is this modified M14. It weighed about 19 freaking pounds. And they came in and said, oh, we need a 7.62 SCAR version. There was no Mark 17 written into the requirement document. It was just 5.56 transition to 6.8. Well, when they came in with the 7.62 requirement, that changed everything. Because now you had to build these 2 different platforms. Then you had to change the weight requirements. And that affected the Mark 16. So when we finally fielded the first test version to the units, that FN won the contract, they started, the Mark 16 was destroying the optics from the SOP mod program. And instead of giving FN another 8 ounces on the gun, they told all the optics, laser, thermal sight to change their product instead of telling FN in these early days when they're on the field of like 200 rifles, hey, we changed the weight requirement. You can have an additional 8 ounces so don't tear up these optics. It was crazy. It's bureaucracy, you know, and they just, you know, self-licking ice cream cones.
And I know we got a lot of SCAR fans out there, guys, but their biggest selling point was you could change length barrels on this gun. And because remember, we weren't allowed to have another caliber yet. We still aren't, right? So it's 5.56. So the only selling point for it was you could change barrel lengths. Okay, well, if you change barrels from 16-inch to 10.5-inch, right, easy. But now you've got to re-zero your optic. But in my M4 case, I could have my 16-inch upper with a zeroed ACOG or a 3 to 9 on it, and I could push 2 pins, take that off. I could put my 10.5-inch upper on with an EOTech, push 2 pins, and it was already zeroed. I didn't have to change nothing, and I didn't have to field a whole new gun. So, and I know Perry Bear, may he rest in peace, but Command Sergeant Major Perry Bear, he wanted to see U.S. SOCOM get a new rifle. He grew up, was our CSM, and went on the Starfleet Command and everything. So he was there while Steve was starting all these programs. He wanted to see something happen. He wanted to have his name on. So they tried to force the SCAR down our throat, and I'm so glad it went away.
One of the interesting parts was we were at an IPT in St. Petersburg, Florida, IPT, Integrated Product Team meeting, all the services on the U.S. SOCOM, and one of the topics was the SCAR. And the representative for the Marine Corps, what do you call their special ops guy? MARSOC, I can't remember his name, Major Manning. When it was time for the Marine Corps to brief everybody there, what they were up to, he walked up to the podium with a nice little assault gun bag, and he said, I'm getting ready to show you which direction the Marine Corps is going in, and this is not for your approval or denial or something like that. And he zipped open a bag and he picked up a rifle in it, and everybody in the crowd, in the peanut gallery, oh, it's a SCAR Mark 16. He said, this is Marine Corps' prototype SCAR Mark 16 in 6.8 SBC. You could have heard a gnat fart. That room got so quiet. And everybody ran outside with their cell phones. Oh my gosh, Marine Corps, Steve Holland, he's voodoo. He threw voodoo on them. They're going with the 6.8. Oh, it was crazy. It's crazy. And he told me later on that night we were at a mixer. He said, man, he said, I've known all these people for 3 years. They very seldom come up and talk to me. every one of these program managers and their assistants and assistants chased me outside. I was running down the beach trying to get away from them because he had FM make the March 16 and 6.8 because Colonel Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis, who became the Commandant of the Marine Corps, and then he became, under President Trump, he was the
Chief of Staff, something like that?
No, he was Secretary of Defense, right?
Yeah.
Secretary?
Yep.
He called me one day. We were out in Nevada, and he had gotten my phone number from Gary Roberts, who did all of the ballistic gel testing for us. And I remember I was traveling between Las Vegas and Pahrump, Nevada. And my phone rang. I looked at the number. I didn't know the number. And so I let it play through. Then I listened to the voicemail. He said, "Hey, is this Sergeant Holland? This is Colonel Mattis of the Marine Corps." I was like, "Colonel Mattis?" So I called him back. I said, "Hey, this is Master Sergeant Holland." He said, "Hey, Master Sergeant Holland, this is Colonel Mattis of the Marine Corps." Blah blah blah. And I said, it's hard to tell a colonel. I need to validate you. Okay, I'm just not going to take it for granted that you called me and said you are the Mad Dog Mattis. So I said, "Where'd you get my number from, sir?" He goes, "I got it from Gary Roberts." I said, "Can I call you back?" "Yeah." I called Gary. I said, "Gary, did you give Colonel Mattis my phone number?" He said, "Yeah." He's supposed to call you. I said, "He just did, but I need a bona fide. I'm not going to start into a conversation with somebody who says he's Colonel Mattis."
Yeah. So
then I called him back. I said, "Sir, what can I do for you?" He goes, "Let's talk 6.8. And for the next 40 minutes on the way to Pahrump, where we were going to Silver State Armory, who was making 6.8, we had this conversation. And I just admire the guy, minus the politics. He wanted what was best for the Marines. He said that he went over all the data information from Buford Boone at the FBI Ballistic Research Facility and from Gary Roberts. And he said that 6.8 is what he believed the Marines needed. He said, we need to bring the fight to them. And he said, I saw your briefing on your slides where you talk about that the enemy doesn't fear your ability to project pain and death, that they're going to get belt buckle close. I said, yes, sir. He said, you're right. And he said, I believe 6.8 is the answer. So he tried, but I guess the bureaucracy, again, was bigger than the Commandant of the Marines.
Politics. Man,
but at the time,
politicians should come right between deer and turkey season. They really should.
Yeah. If you think about it, Lake City Army Ammunition Plant was being run by federal ATK at the time. And they didn't support transition 5.56. They talk about switching out the machines and everything else. But as soon as the Saudi Royal Guard started running the 6.8 LWRCI PDWs, and they dropped like $115 million contract for 6.8 ammo, ATK, Lake City, they switched those machines overnight. Over fucking night. That's what it's all about. It's all about that dollar. You got those coins. Okay, you got them John Wick coins, start dripping them, and boom, they switched. If you look up Saudi Royal Guard, 6.8 SPC, LWRCI. They have a 8-inch PDW, and Federal ATK at Lake City makes a 80 grain fusion round for that 8.5-inch barrel on their PDW, and it's a smoker.
We actually trained the Saudis down at Tier 1 group, and they had a bunch of problems with the guns, but it wasn't the ammo; it was the guns. But
keep in mind that they probably don't clean them.
Yeah. It's the Saudis. Man, you want to talk about some high maintenance guys? They all stayed. They wouldn't stay on base in the barracks. Because they're not animals. So they all had. Each guy had his own room at one of the nice hotels in downtown Memphis. Yeah, and so the officers had them set up lighting in 3 different hotel rooms so that they could decide what lighting they wanted in each room because the lighting wasn't correct. And then they had to add full-size refrigerators to every room. They had to, anyways, it was an ass pain just trying to keep these guys happy. I want to say it was like a 45-day package, but they did a bunch of packages back to back. And
45 days, full-size refrigerator. Okay.
Dude, don't get me started on the Saudis. High maintenance. But I guess, you know, you got that kind of money. It don't matter. You still smell like feet. All right, we weren't going to talk politics tonight. Hey, I want to remind you guys, my son's been doing all these shorts on YouTube. And, we plateaued at like 13 point something million views in a month. Guys, we're still at 9 million views in the last 28 days. So anyways, ask you guys, hey, let's keep the algorithm going. If you're watching shorts or any of our videos, like, comment, all that. But the big thing is share them with other people. And you sharing shorts really helps them take off. It really does. So let's keep that algorithm going. Me and my son, we just filmed this video, best ammo for home defense. We a bunch of gel blocks. Nick, by the way, we need to melt some more gel blocks back down. Good stuff indeed. But this Friday's video, just a couple days from now, is actually one that Emery filmed, I want to say, the week before we went to Patreon. And it's called Best Body Armor. And we've said that before, right? The Dayton armor plates are hands down the lightest plates I've ever played with. But Emery found these plates at a company called CPE. They're out of Finland. And these plates are level 4 multi-hit plates. Now, the plates that my old unit used to run, same thing, multi-hit plates, and they were level 4. They weren't as thick as these. They were a little bit heavier, but they were designed to take up to 10 hits on these plates. Now, okay, there are plates, but these were a little bit thicker, a little bit lighter, weird looking. Emery's like, hey, I want to shoot these plates, want to shoot them. So Emery started right out of the gate with API, armor piercing incendiary. You understand, level 4 plates are not supposed to stop API, the armor piercing incendiary. They're not. They're supposed to stop ball. They're supposed to stop AK. They're supposed to stop everything that's on the battlefield except armor piercing ammo. By definition, it's supposed to penetrate armor. Emery's not a bright guy. You guys know that. We love Emery. Everybody loves Emery. Instead of smarter, not harder, Emery is harder, not harder, right? That's just Emery. Everybody loves Emery. And by the way, Emery is a smart cookie. He started it right out of the bat. He had some of the old 30-06 API, and he had a buddy reload those projectiles in the hot 308 brass and loaded hot. And he, right out of the gate, shot this plate with this thing and it didn't go through. Did not go through. And I was like, okay, because that has always killed all my other level 4 plates. Killed them all. Always kills, always does. And we were expecting it to fail. But and he then hit it with, green tip and M855A1 that's got that nice steel tip on it. Whole bunch of stuff. And then he had a second plate and he hits this thing with a 10-round burst. 10-round burst. I mean, this thing is just rocking, bouncing on the rubber mannequin. Nothing went through. And some of those rounds were near the edges. So anyways, and you guys might not like the video, but for my military guys out there, we got a lot of vets that, served in Iraq, Afghanistan, other militaries. If you've ever worn body armor, you understand it's not really bulletproof. It's to make you think that you're bulletproof. Mentally allows you to go through that doorway, but it's not. It's only protecting. It's not bulletproof. Watch the video, you'll get a kick out of it. So anyways, that is this Friday. I thought my son did a great job of editing that video. One other thing I wanted to share with you guys is we've been trying to get the 2024 calendar up. The 2024 calendar, training calendar, is up on tacticalrifleman.com. You can go to the calendar, you can go to the store and just look at the list of classes. One thing I will say is you'll notice there's lots of gaps. There's a lot of months where there are not any classes at all. And that's for a couple reasons. One, because I'm taking a lot of time off next year I've got a bunch of things, personal things that I have to take care of. One, me and my son and Emery and 5 other guys from our tactical rifleman family, we are all going to go jump into Normandy, France for the D-Day anniversary. It's the 80th anniversary, and we're gonna go jump into Normandy, France. But also, Emery, I don't know if you guys heard, Emery tore up his back, and until he gets this disc operated on, there's a lot of his classes I just can't put on the calendar until he gets himself fixed. So anyways, I'm going to be adding more classes. There's also a aerial gunnery course. Yeah, that's right, shooting from a Little Bird helicopter. And that'll be down in Texas, 1-day class. It's there. It's already been done up. It is hidden on the website right now, simply because I'm still negotiating prices with the helicopter crew. I got a quote from them before for so much money per hour of flight time, and now they're like, well, we haven't raised it on the website, and we need to. Anyways, they're wanting to raise the price. So, anyways, I understand aviation fuel is expensive, guys, but if you've ever wanted to shoot, and we'll get a class on how to shoot from a helicopter. It's a Little Bird helicopter. At a minimum, depend on flight time, how many students are in the class, but at a minimum, you will get two rides down the 2 live fire rides on the helicopter, plus another ride to get you guys used to it. But 2 live fire runs. It's like 30 rounds or 60, 30 rounds per aerial gunnery ride. They have different targets for you to shoot at and stuff. So anyways, so I've got good classes for you to sign up. If you want to get in on a class in 2023, I've got 1 open enrollment class left. My other class is a private class, and that is the first week of December. High risk travel. It's a 3-day long class. Again, you can bring your whole family to it. It's too cold to shoot in December, right? But high risk travel. We cover surveillance, counter surveillance, how to pack, how to act on an airplane, how to act in a hotel, in a taxi, all kinds of things, how not to get rolled up. But then if you do get rolled up, we cover, mindset and, escapology, how to, different types of tape sound different if you're blindfolded, different techniques for getting out of different kinds of tape, flex cuffs, chains, ropes, picking handcuffs, how to make handcuff shims, I'm actually faster doing handcuffs behind my back with a bobby pin than I am with a real handcuff key, because a bobby pin is a little bit longer. It's just easier for me, for whatever reason, it's easier for me to do it behind my back with a bobby pin. So anyways, it's a good course. Like I said, you can bring your whole family to it. I got a guy who's bringing his 14-year-old daughter and his wife to the class. So that class is only half full. So I'm going to run it whether I have enough students or not. So if you're interested in getting in on a class here this year, it's a great Christmas present that you could give your family, and the life skills that they're going to learn. If you're a grandfather and you want to give it to your grandkids or your kids or your grandkids, if you're a mom and dad, you want to send your children to it. If you're a young parent and you want to bring your younger children, so long as you will get with me on the phone and you tell me that they are mature enough to soak up the information that we're putting out. I don't have any problems with you bringing young teenagers. Not at all. Not at all. Great
I'm glad
course.
you mentioned escapology. What we went through that portion of it at the Patreon course. I was texting back and forth yesterday with John Striker Meyer, Tilt, and I don't know what brought it up, but I happened to mention the Patreon course, and I said, he said, describe it. I described it. I put it in escapology. He texted me back. He said, what the hell is escapology? So I kind of gave him an outline.
This is the Mac V. Sog guy, guys. You guys all know who John Striker Myers is.
He's
The
the
legend.
author of some of the best books on Vietnam, Mac V. Sog.
Yeah.
And so I sent him the class outline for high-risk travel. And he texted me back. He said, man, that's very interesting. I'm really, really interested in getting back with you guys on that. So hopefully we get come. John Striker Meyer.
You might have John Striker Meyer sitting next to you in class, guys. Wouldn't that be cool? And honest, I'd love to have John and his wife attend. But John is a lot like us. He is always, he's not going to say, well, I'm coming up on 80. I can't learn anymore. No, I try to learn something new every day. I sincerely do. I try to learn something new every day. All right. Got another question just came in from Paul American. Question, just looking for Steve and Carl's concerns with a open AI system for both military and civilian. Artificial intelligence, guys. And you can look into it in every realm. AI is the future. It is. So I'll use the example of just drones alone. And if you want to look at what has changed warfare just in the last 10 years, right? Because we just fought a war for 20 years against cavemen, and it never really came up. We were using drones, but very limited, and they weren't using them at all. But then you kick off Ukraine and Russia going at it, and drones completely changed warfare. Like the last AUSA convention, all the new latest and greatest weapons and everything, that's everybody went to the drone booth, the different drone booths. Drone warfare has changed the battlefield just in the last few years. Drone warfare, when AI hits it, you're going to be able to give a drone a mission to go do, and those 10 drones will go out, and when they get to the area, each drone will drop 10 drones each, and now you have a cloud of 100 drones.
Swarm.
A swarm. It's called swarm warfare. And they will never, ever bump into each other. It's not like you got 100 F-16s flying around fighting. No, they would be bumping into each other. Drones, AI, they're all linked together. It's one mind, and they will not bump into each other. And I mentioned the F-16s. The future for the Air Force is it's going to be AI unmanned airplanes, and they've already got, it's called Wingman program. Look it up. And the reason why they went with the name specifically Wingman is because nobody wants to fathom the idea that we're going to send computers onto the battlefield to make decisions about humans dying without there being a human there to control it. And but that's the future, guys. That is the future. AI will be involved with medical. AI will be involved. And you guys have what was the old movie, War Games?
Yeah.
Shall we play a game? No, and all of your Terminator movies, guys, 100%. The Matrix, right? All that AI crap. That is the future. It's the future, and it's coming whether you like it or not.
Yes, it is.
Some of it is already being fielded. It's not being used on the battlefield, but it is already being fielded and tested. And I was amazed by the level that it's already at. And I'm not at liberty to talk about a lot of it, but you'll hear me talking about it with drones a lot. what's going to hurt us is controlling information, guys. You'll see more and more videos where like Biden says something messed up. He didn't really say that. They're lip syncing. You've seen the ones with him and with Trump and Hillary, and they're talking about whatever, and they're putting other words in their mouths, and it makes for funny videos on social media. But you understand they've reached the level now where they can do that. The scenes that Hollywood is able to do now with AI, the stuntmen are going to be out of business. They just are.
Okay, take it in a process. The first time you guys ever saw a movie like The Matrix, which came out, man, that was like in the 90s. Now look at a movie like Avatar. And you looked at that movie, Avatar, they're transferring the personality, everything to a avatar, a drone, a body. But look at the movie, the flights, the animals, everything else, and how amazing that was, how 3D that was. AI is going to have the ability, and we see it coming, to imitate a person. They're already doing, Beatles music, Michael Jackson's song. That they're going to have that ability to mimic things to where the average person, when they see it on the news, they're not going to question it. They're going to see it and they're going to believe it. Some of you guys, well, a lot of you guys aren't old enough to remember. They used to have a cartoon on Saturdays called The Jetsons. And the Jetsons, everybody's like, oh, wow, they have self-opening doors, they have moving sidewalks, they had all this stuff, and everybody's just like, wow, in the future, it's going to be amazing. Now, we walk in Walmart, the doors slide open. We don't even think anything about it. When we started working drones in Iraq and Afghanistan the second time, I remember talking to CTTS, or you hear me talk about those guys all the time because they fund RDT&E. And I remember getting a hold of them. I said, hey, I got a problem. My guys, we're using Air Force drones. And the Air Force is getting to the point where they're starting to turn us down because they said, hey, we have our own missions. So I said, we need the capability to provide organic drones to the A team, not to the B team and C team, to the CU-SOAR headquarters. We don't want to have anybody to chop their drone over to our area when we're about to go hot. So we got the drones a little small, just the guys to throw.
Yeah.
And I remember going into a Rural King one day, and I saw this $599 drone for farmers, and it had GPS capability. And I remember calling up Trex. I said, hey, man, we need to start looking into counter drones. Now, this is in 2007, 2008. He said, Steve, we just got you drones. Why do we need to work on counter drones? I said, they have commercial off-the-shelf drones that can do a 10-digit location. I said, anybody could buy that, weaponize it, put in your house address, and boom, it's there.
Guys, on that note, if you go to tacticalrifleman.com, you'll see we've added a bunch of new classes. One of them is a 4-day course called Tactical Drone Defense. And a 4-day course, first 2 days is basically the drone operator course, which is a 48-hour course. And then the last 2 days are counter drone. And it's a big subject. It really is. Yeah, guys. All right. All right. We've got a few more coming. I know I'm falling behind here. I'm sorry. Tank Dank 2016. Ask Carl if a felon can do high-risk travel, please. Yes, anybody can do high-risk travel. No, they're not shooting firearms. And legitimate question. Now, if you understand, you sign up for a class, guys. I do a quick background check on all my students. So if you show up, you're part of a gang, you're a gangbanger from Detroit. I'm still not gonna. That doesn't keep you from being able to attend the course. It's just you got to understand. I got to wake because I was actually looking at doing a course just for gangbangers, a pistol course, and then like day 3 would be force on force. And the winning team gets T-shirts, you know. But and I would train him for free.
Get your bang on.
No, sincerely. No, that's just the truth, man. It's just the truth.
Hey, God bless America. They serve their time.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I don't have a problem with felons attending because felons have families too. All right. Peter over in Hong Kong threw down 10 Hong Kong dollars. I think that's like worth 7 shekels, which is $2. That'd be 28 beer in Haiti. So yeah, it's about $2.
Hey, throw down the John Wick coin, man.
What hunted wildlife you and Steve eaten? Hunted wildlife. I have eaten everything from rattlesnakes, copperheads, gazelles. I ate a sea turtle that Akil Mahmoud Bey shot in Djibouti. Akil, good people.
My brother.
What else? You go down to the market in Ethiopia, and it says beef, it says chicken, it says monkey, it says rat, and then it says meat, like MEAT, like as though monkey and rat wasn't bad enough. This is something they won't even put a name on. It just says meat, and I've eaten that too. It doesn't bother me. I've gotten dysentery in every country I've been to almost.
Let's see. Snake, of course. Alligator, shark.
Yeah, shark.
Sea turtle. I mean, any
love me some
antelope
seafood.
family that's on the hoof.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time in Africa. Like I told you that one night we was doing a patrol. The guy goes, "What's that? Something running behind us." He said, "It is the antelope." Then you hear something else. The guy goes, "What was that?" He goes, "It is the lion that chases the antelope." And I remember going into the markets, and just as Carl said, you could tell how fresh the meat was based on the layer of flies that was on the meat. If it had one layer of flies on the outside, then it was fresh meat. As you go down, you see they're about 6 deep. And you got a big cloud of running away. That meat's been sitting there about 4 or 5 days.
That's good stuff right there. It's marinated.
Uh-huh.
Marinated in fly spit. That's all.
That's my one guy told me one time. He goes, "Steve," I go, "What?" He goes, "The rice is moving." I was like, "What?" He goes, "The rice is moving." I said,
Mike Hunt Sweat.
It was maggots in the rice.
Hey, Carl and Steve, is 300 PRC a good hunting and precision shooting caliber, or should I be looking for something else? Also, what primary arm scope would you use? All right, 300 a precision rifle.
Cartridge, bi-hornady.
Yeah, I could see it being good for precision rifle and hunting. I do not believe Primary Arms has a scope with a BDC specifically for the 300 PRC. What I mean by that is that one don't have it. It's a box. It's not over there. Nick moved it.
Blame it on Nick.
No, this Saturday is our opening day of rifle season. And you guys saw that video I just did of that Adams Arms P3 6.5 Creedmoor, the first sub-MOA gas gun I've ever shot. You know, everybody says they're sub-MOA, like my SR25. They say they're not sub-MOA. They're not. But this gun was legitimately insanely accurate. That's what I'm taking whitetail deer hunting. This Saturday is Operation Bloodbath, opening day of deer season. The scope I'm using on that is a Primary Arms Apollo. In other words, the Apollo reticle is set specifically for 120 grain, maybe it's 140 grain 6.5 Creedmoor, running at such and such feet per second. I'm running 120 grain, but anyway, it's easy enough to dial it in. It's going to be good out to 800, and I don't have any shots past 600. No problem at all. I'm completely good with it. They don't have one for the 300 PRC. So what they do have, though, is what's called a Griffin reticle. You can get whatever size scope you want, whatever version. But the Griffin, is that a Griffin? Yeah, matter of fact, that's a Griffin reticle right there. know if you guys can make out that reticle or not. You really can't. But anyways, it has got a mill grid underneath it, and then what you're going to have to do is run a ballistic program on your phone. I recommend Applied Ballistics, and it's a good reticle. I mean, it's a good program. You can put in muzzle velocity, height over bore, your reticle, first or second focal plane, all your wind data, your density, altitude, all that stuff, and it will greatly increase your chances of getting a first round hit at distance.
Now, this is my perspective on what you're asking about on 300 PRC. It seems that every year the ammunition industry come out with a new cartridge that's the latest hotness. You know, it's the Gucci round. I used to follow that when I was a combat developer, and even before that, because I was into wildcatting, making my own ammunition, designing my own ammunition, and I have a few rifles that are was hotness. And the one thing I've learned over the years, and one of the reasons that I've been a big advocate of the Rock River LAR 47, AK 47, 7.62x39 carbine, is ammo availability in places where you commonly go. A 300 PRC will fall into the category of a souped up 30-06, a 300 Win Mag. I mean, you name it. 30-06 actually improved, all this other stuff. So again, I look at availability. And one thing I found, I used to run a cartridge called the 300 Highlander, which became the 300 Remington Short Action Ultra Magnum. And
how's that for a name?
Yeah, and it's just like the Winchester 300 Short Mag, and 300 Winchester Mag, which I got into Special Forces working with Jake Jacovinko and Pat Mennonite up at Crane and John Clemens. And one thing I found that in an average hunting application, there's nothing that was designed, I'll say, after the year 2000 maybe, that won't kill your average game animal. I mean, if 300 PRC is what you want, is what you want. I have a 300 Dakota, which back then in the early 2000s was a hotness because it was a non-belted Magnum, and it pushes a 180 grain 30 caliber bullet at about 3,300 feet per second. That's smoking, guys. And I haven't shot anything with it in 20 years. I shoot a 30-06 when I deer hunt. I might shoot a 308. I shoot 6.8 if I know I'm being in a wooded environment. But look at your cost. Look at the availability.
Yeah,
if
you're
you
not
can't
going to be able to
buy
get ammo.
If you can't buy it at Walmart, you're in a rush. Something happened. My bag fell. It fell in the river. So I need some ammo. If you can't go grab it at Walmart, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, you're not going to find 300 PRC anywhere on the planet. I got one here from it's 100 Australian quid of the King's money. All right, it says it's Susan Britcher's account, but it says, "Hey Carl, it's Marie here on Susan's account. Just wanted to say hi. Hope you had fun in Texas." Marie, thank you. I appreciate you making a small donation to the preservation of Carl Erickson Foundation. Please say hi to Susan for me. I know she's hard at work. Guys, you guys know Susan's one of our moderators, and she couldn't make it tonight. Might be able to make the second hour. Marie was one of her friends that was supposed to possibly come to the Patreon course with Susan, and we were looking forward, Marie, to getting you out on the shooting range. Marie is not a shooter, so imagine, Marie, you sitting here having to listen to verbal diarrhea about guns from me and Steve Holland for an hour. I really feel for you. But anyways, I'm sorry to hear about your father. I hope he's feeling better. And if sincerely, we'll continue to keep your family in our prayers. And Marie, hopefully someday, you and your husband and Glenn and Susan and their next trip over, hopefully we can all get together for a trip, and I will show you how to shoot these crazy guns all these crazy American yahoos like to shoot all the time. All right, you're looking up 300 PRC at Walmart. He's on Walmart.com.
$75 a box.
All right, Colby Dixon threw down $5. Thank you, Marie. Carl Kama, I love the Applied Ballistics app, especially since California has different climates. What does the look angle mean, though? I cannot figure it out. Look angle is that your angle up and down that you're shooting, right? If you're looking up. Now, angle comes into two places. One is Coriolis, in which case you have to give them the direction that you're on. Honest, Colby, if you look in your settings, turn off Coriolis. It's there's actually an option for it. Here's why. What Coriolis, guys, if you're not familiar with Coriolis is the spinning of the planet underneath the bullet. Now, if you're not even shooting past a mile, you don't need to worry about Coriolis because the bullet is moving so fast and you understand the Earth is spinning, what is it, Nick, 200 or 400 miles an hour? Anyways, it's not just that the Earth is spinning, but so's every molecule of air and everything else, right? It's spinning, but time of flight, all right, your bullet is traveling very, very fast. But if you're shooting at a mile, the curving of the planet while the planet spins is actually moving that target left or right. Unless you are shooting east or west, and then it's moving the target 2 inches closer to you or farther away from you. So my reason for telling you to leave Coriolis turned off is because if you leave it turned off and you're shooting at a mile and you screw it up and you don't compensate for Coriolis, you're going to miss about 2.5 inches. Again, depends on your projectile speed, blah, 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 blah. But if you have it turned on, but you haven't updated the direction you're shooting, right? North, south, east, whatever direction. If you have it left 180 off, it may actually double the compensating what it needed to have done. And instead of you missing by 2.5 inches, now you're missing by 5 inches. That would suck. So leave Coriolis turned off. And the reason why your shooting angle up and down matters, guys, is if you look at our screen right here, all right, if you're up here in this corner and you're shooting all the way down at this target right here, all right, you're shooting at that target from way up here, all right, this is your actual distance. It is that long right there, okay? But if you brought it down this way, it's a lot less. It's a lot less. So when you look at how much gravity is actually dragging down on that bullet, your angle, you've got to compensate. So in other words, right, everybody understands if you're shooting downhill, you need to aim low, right? Everybody understands that because you've ran down a hill before. But it's actually the same if you're shooting uphill. You still have to aim low from your actual true distance. And again, you put in that shooting angle into your calculation, guys. If you're not sure what we're talking about, guys, this right here is your app right here. It's a big A. It's called Applied Ballistics. You get in when you get into the program. I don't want to update it right now. You pick whichever rifle you want to shoot. We'll do my 338 Accuracy International. I only have one bullet that I shoot through this gun, and that is my Berger Hybrids. You see it spinning. Right now it's pulling local weather data off of Wi-Fi. Now I can manually put in updated weather data with my Kestrel weather station. You guys call it a wind meter, all right? But from there, for my 1,000 meter target, I need to hold up 6.2 mils and, all right, yep. up 6.2 mils, and for a wind of 12.1 miles per hour, coming from 7 o'clock. That was obviously the last target that I shot at. I'd have to aim left 0.8 mils. And you can get real deep into this. You can calculate movers and everything else. And I've got other ballistic programs on my phone. And here's why. Because whatever the students show up with, if they're running Straylock or they're running HRAG, whatever the different programs are, I have to be able to teach them on their programs that they're using. But my perfect world, until somebody shows me one better, the one that I have found that works the best for me with my military sniper background, I like Applied Ballistics. The Applied Ballistics mobile app is still used by a lot of military active duty snipers. And the only thing that the civilian version doesn't have, it doesn't have like a loophole formula, stuff like that. You don't need it. That is good coffee. Guys, so you know what I did, right? I always start off with my 8 shots of espresso. I add a little bit of Italian sweet cream to it, froth that up real good. Because it's, to thin it down a little bit, one of my patrons actually got me this stuff at the Patreon course. I think the bottle's got a leak in it because I've only been drinking it 2 live streams. And I know I haven't drank that much of it. There must be a leak in the bottle. But anyways, it makes Steve better looking, guys. So he needs all...
Byron Russell.
What?
So he's got all the 300 PRC.
Yeah, Byron likes 300 PRC. I take it. All right, got another one come in here. Nope, that was the one I just did. Just did that one. All right, from Mountain Living, TR Live, is there an affordable option for IR laser besides the D-Ball and PQ2 that you'd recommend? Honestly, I'm a big fan of the D-Ball A3. To me, I'm big on buy once, cry once, because I plan on actually using this stuff, and I do, right? If I need it for classes, if I need it to defend my town, my nation, my family, whatever. There's a lot of Soviet stuff that's out there, Ukrainian stuff. There's one I would recommend you, the TMAIM, TMAIM, but it's actually not available to civilians because the laser emitter in it is too strong. I got 2 of those, but they're priced perfect. But But hunt around. But honestly, I don't have any others to recommend to you. The D-Ball, if you're looking for a good, strong IR illuminator, I think it's called the A2. The D-Ball A2 has got a stronger IR illuminator for in close. It's like a flashlight. I don't worry about that because I run my Surefire Scout Vampire that's got an IR head on it, and that's what I use in close in the woods. Yeah, it's hard to say, man. It is. And I think that's the last one that I got. All right. Was that the last one, Nick? That was the last one, I believe. All right. Real quick, guys. You got anything else you want to touch on, Steve?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Miss K for her support at the Patreon course. She made all the instructors a little drinking bottle, and each one was personalized. And this is mine.
Ezekiel 25:17. That's Karen Harrison. Karen and Toby, they've been patrons of ours for a long time. I'm hoping they're in the chat room right now. Are they in the chat room?
Well, Toby just texted me. He's watching, but I want to give a shout out to Miss K for putting together our little bottle.
Karen's awesome.
And everybody's bottle was different.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
Mine's got my Jeep on it.
I saw Randy's.
I got 2 more.
Randy, that damn cowboy.
Randy's got the damn cowboy on it.
So thank you, Miss K.
Okay. All right. We got a couple more questions just came in. Damn. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to get caught up here. All right. All right. This is from Joe Stubborn. Man, your mom, man, she should have married somebody with a better last name. All right. Can civilians own MRAPs? Is that the preferred vehicle if you want to go up armored? Honest, guys, I'm not a big fan of the MRAP. You understand, it is a mine-resistant vehicle, and it's not made for taking armor-piercing ammo. It's made for IEDs, and it's mine-resistant vehicle. No, I would not invest my money in an MRAP. They are way too top-heavy.
They're way too sustainable pricey. I mean, you're talking about just the tires on that vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
man, you're at thousands of dollars per tire.
There's lots of up-armored Humvees that are going through DRMO and getting put out on the civilian market now. If you wanted to grab one of them, the problem with adding all that extra armor to a Humvee is you've greatly exceeded the weight limit that the vehicle was initially designed for. They toughen everything up, but the maintenance is just atrocious. And that's why when we were doing the Team SIF mission with Delta in Mosul, why we switched to running Strikers, the 8-wheeled Strikers, because the Striker has the same armor protection that an up-armored Humvee has, but it was designed from the get-go to have that much armor on it. It wasn't designed to be a desert mobility vehicle with light armor, and then you put all this heavy armor plating on it. And even with the supercharged motor that the SF Humvees had, it just was not designed to hold that much weight. All right. Your little, what are they called, the little ferrets?
Paul McManus has one of these parked in his front yard. It's a ferret.
And it doesn't run, guys. It'll be parked in his front yard forever.
I think Paul ferret.
And he ain't ever gonna get that shit to run. Remember, we were talking about getting Todd to take a look at it. Ronnie Barrett's got a 6-wheel armored personnel carrier in his garage. It doesn't run either. Actually, I think Ronnie's does, but he doesn't take it out.
John Vanderbush has a ferret.
I don't doubt John. I don't doubt that for a second.
Quick story.
Oh, shit.
So
hold on. Let me start the stopwatch.
Jay Johnson calls me up. Now, Jay's over in the motor pool. I'm over in the Force Mod office. He goes, Steve, I'm the mobility guy. I go, yeah, Jay. He goes, so why do we have this armored car thing over here and all the team guys are looking at it and everything else? I said, Jay, I have no idea what you're talking about, brother. You're the mobility NCO for the staff section. And he describes it. Then I go, do you see John Vanderbosch anywhere in that vehicle? He goes, yeah, John is walking the people around. John. John takes his ferret, right, drives it out to the Hunting and Fishing Center on Fort Campbell, where the stables are. He goes up and he parks on one of the fire breaks because he knows at the end of the day, all the units that went out to the ranges are going to come into the main cantonment area, and then they have to go through the security gates. So he waits for these units to start driving by, and he slips into their convoy, and the MPs just wait for him. I was like, John.
Why did he smuggle it on base? Because it wasn't
registered. It
wasn't registered.
Yeah. So I get another call about a month or two later, and it's the Clarksville Police Department. And the guy goes, "Hey, I'm sorry, blah blah blah." I said, "What can I do for you?" He goes, "Does Sergeant Vanderbosch work for you?" Yes. No. Depends on what it's about. He said, "Well, he was stopped and arrested, pulled over." I said, "For what?" It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. He said he was driving down the city streets with an armored car with a machine gun mounted on top of it. So when I go have to sign for him, and everything else, we get it back. John, well, Steve, I don't understand, because blah blah blah. The machine gun, is a dummy, is an MG42, and the ammo was a dummy. I said, John, you're driving through downtown. Nobody's going to look up at that ammo and say, "Oh, those are dummies." Nobody's going to look at that machine gun and say, "That's a dummy." They're going to go, "That's the craziest guy with the armored car machine gun."
Yeah.
So, ferrets are an option to having an MRAP.
Brian Metaphor. Carl, I checked out those Adams Arms 6.5 rifles. What ballistic shortcomings would the 18-inch have versus the 24-inch? I'm a little concerned about mobility issues with a suppressed 24-inch.
Wow.
You understand every inch you take off of the barrel, you're losing, I don't know what it is on a 6.5 Creedmoor, but you're losing muzzle velocity. You are. And so you're slowing your projectile down. Not that big a deal when you're using 308 and you're looking at shooting a lot of subsonic 308 anyways. You specifically mentioned a suppressor. On my 6.5, I'm not running a suppressor on it. It's got a Proof Research barrel that's carbon fiber wrapped. That's a lot of weight to go on that thing. Even running a lightweight suppressor, I don't need it. So I wanted the longer barrel so I get a flatter shooting round. Now, that said, I feel your pain wanting a shorter package. So my Barrett, you guys know my M107 A1, I could go with the longer barrel. I chose to go with the short 20-inch barrel because I have the 16-inch long suppressor for it. With the suppressor on it, it's longer than a regular Barrett without a suppressor. But I was willing to give up muzzle velocity because those 50 cal rounds they're delivering the energy that I need to kill helicopters, trains, armored cars, Scud missiles, pumpkins. Pumpkins. That's, guys, you understand, that's all I kill with the thing now is pumpkin.
I'm not that familiar with Adams Arms. I think Coach talked to me about that on the Patreon course.
They've got a Piston 6.5
so
that is awesome.
Is it? I'm assuming it's an AR-10 size
platform.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
And you're considering a 24-inch barrel on an AR-10 size platform.
That's what this thing's got. It's gorgeous, dude.
Well,
I thought mine was 22.
And you know me,
it might be 24, but I thought mine was 22.
24 is a lot on a bolt gun when you're running 308 size, cartridge size. Yeah. Because you got the 6.5 LaPoule, you got the 260 Remington, you got the 308. I mean, now you have the 6.8 about 51, which SIG claims like nobody else had done it before because I did it before when I was doing the 6.8. And I was looking at the 270 rating, which back then it was an accurate 308 design and 270, which was 6.8. And so 6.5 Creedmoor, 24-inch barrel on a gas gun. That's normally 22 inches is considered low.
Yeah, I thought it was 22 inches. But I could have sworn he said 24.
I thought he said 24. That's what I'm saying. 24 is long. And keep in mind, and it's going to vary with the cartridges and your loads. I'll give you an example. When I was doing a 6.8 SBC.
Back to his question though, is it what is his ballistic shortcomings?
Right,
comparing it to an 18-inch.
What we would do when I did the 6.8, we started with 24-inch barrel, even though we knew we were not going to use a 24-inch barrel on the Mark 12. But we took the loads that we had developed, and we would shoot 10-round groups through the Doppler radar for velocity in groups out of the Army Marksmanship Unit at Parks Range. Then we would cut off to 25 inches, and then we would shoot, I think, 3, 4, 10-round groups across the radar and cut down till we got to 12.5 inches. So we would have all that data for the barrel lengths. And again, depending on your cartridge and your load. On the 6.8, every inch below 22 averaged about 25 feet per second velocity loss until we got to about 14 inches. Now it's starting to stabilize. Now you're just losing, powder out of the barrel. So on a 22-inch 6.5,
big fireball.
You would have to have someone like one of the ammunition companies say, hey, do you have the velocity set up for this load? Let's say Hornady, their 6.5 load at 22 inches, 20 inches, 20. Because a lot of times if you look in the reloading manual and they give you the loading data, and sometimes you look at it and go, wow, man, that's incredible, great velocity, great groups. But you look down in the margin, it says tested from a 24-inch barrel, and you're looking at a 20-inch AR-15 barrel, 18-inch, 16.5-inch. So a 24-inch barrel is uncommon to me from all I've ever done with we keep calling it an AR-10 size platform, which is AR-10, Mark 11, Mark 10, all the families of that 308 size AR-15. 24 inches, that's unusual. But I mean, if you want 24 inches, you have it with 24 inches, you run your velocity across a good chronograph.
I'm going to go get a tape measure and measure mine right now.
Carl's going to go get a tape measure and we'll measure his right now. So, anyway, most of the boat guns you go to Walmart and you buy a Remington 700 and 308 or 6.5 Creedmoor, 260 Remington, 6.5 LaPoule, all just that family. Most of your average industry boat guns are 22 inches. Even the Rugers, the All-Americans, and the other ones, and the Savage and the Mossbergs. That's industry average on that size cartridge, 22 inches. Even on your 30-06s, your 270s, your 25-06s, those cartridges, about 22 inches. Now, you will have some platforms that you can get with 24 inches commercial off the shelf. Now, when you get in specialized, you can go 24. I've got my 300 Dakota has a 26-inch barrel on it. But that thing burns 105 grains of powder. 5.56 is about 28 grains of powder. So, again, I'm not familiar with Adams Arms. Coach.
By the way, it is a 24-inch barrel. Mine has a 24-inch barrel on it. Really does. It's a beautiful gun.
I like to see
beautiful. It's right by the back door.
Is it?
Yeah.
The one with the
it's all camouflaged up. The deer season starts Saturday, guys.
You know what? I did notice that.
Yeah, I'm going to the
other night when I was grabbing the reload equipment. I said, "Man, that's a long barrel."
That's a long barrel. Yeah. It is a long barrel. You're going to lose. You're going to lose muzzle velocity, obviously. So in other words, that football is not going to fly as straight. It's going to drop more. All right, one. But two, it's going to go transonic and start to get unstable sooner. So instead of you getting 1,200 meter shots, you're going to get 900 meter shots.
That Carl knew how to use a tape measure. Just saying.
Translated, Steve's got to go hit the head. And
no, I want to look at this 24-inch barrel.
You can't bring it in front of the camera. I just put the tape measure on the vise in the workshop. He's called me a liar, right? I mean, who would do that? I wouldn't do that, guys. I wouldn't call me a liar. All right, welcome back to Tactical Rifleman, guys. I apologize for all the jackassery. Hold on, we've got a couple more questions come in. This one is from Grog. He's wanting to know, we're going to have a holiday gift guide video this year. Right, it's kind of become a Tactical Rifleman thing. It completely fell off my radar. I'll tell you what, let me write that down. Holiday gift guide. I hadn't even thought of that. Holiday gift guide. Huh. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. There's actually a couple of things that I've asked Santa for. I know I'm going to get coal from Santa. I know I am. This will make 5 years straight. I try to be a good boy. It's just, it's hard for me to pull this shit off. But I bought myself a Christmas present. I gave it to my wife already so that she can give it to me Christmas morning. I told her not to tell me what it is, and that way I can be surprised. Oh, I always wanted one of those. Ah. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully she gives it to me on Christmas. I'm hoping. Honey, please. I mean, I spent a lot of money on that. Actually, it's cool, and you know, I'll share it with you guys. I will, because not today. I'll make you wait. I'll put it in the holiday gift card. I'll tell the wife not to wrap it yet, and but you guys can't tell me what I'm getting. Shh. All right, last one right here. All right, that was the last one. Okay. All right, so we are caught up. Hey, some of you guys had asked last week about the ATS tactical gear, new tactical rifleman gun belt. If you're just wanting to buy the belt, the assault belt with the inner liner belt, that's $145, which pricey, but you understand this is life support equipment. You can rappel with this thing. I have rappelled with it. But understand that's the same price you're going to get with everybody else. No matter what company you go to. I mean, unless you go with Kimchi Made from Blackhawk or something. But that said, the full tactical rifleman gun belt that comes with the lowrider piece for your Safariland holster. It comes with your tourniquet pouch, your med pouch, your dump pouch, your 2 AK mag pouches, your 2 pistol mag pouches, all with Kydex insert. The whole bundle, I have finally gone down the ATS tactical gear. I have blessed off on it. Me and Jimmy Bonner have shook hands, and it's done. And it should be live on their website soon. Matter of fact, I will probably be running down there tomorrow or the next day, and we'll see. We'll see about getting it up on the website. I don't have the final price for it, guys. Notice I mentioned AK mag pouches instead of AR mag pouches. Why did I go with AKs? Because this is the gun belt that you guys see me wearing all the time. Why do I run AK mag pouches instead of AR mag pouches?
Glad they asked.
Why do I do it? Yeah, I appreciate you asking. One, because as a Green Beret, my job is to be able to teach everybody. So if I have to teach a class on AKs, I don't have to swap mag pouches. My mags will fit in an AK pouch. But the main reason is they are just slightly longer front to back. And that allows me to put my AR magazines into the pouch easier, much faster, because I have a little bit of extra play. And it works very, very well for me. So please don't think if you order it and you're like, man, I run an AR, this is bullpucky, this is not what I want. You know, I wanted AR. There's a reason why and they hold my AR pouches great. They hold them great. Yeah, but we got last minute changes that I requested done, but we are officially done, خلاص, finished, and it should be going live very, very soon.
Who was the viewer that asked about the Adams Arm 6.5 24-inch barrel?
His name?
Yeah.
His name was Brian Metaphor.
Brian, as a metaphor to what Carl was speaking to earlier, I stand corrected. That is a 24-inch barrel, Adams Arm 6.5 Creedmoor, 26 inches with that 4-vent horizontal muzzle brake that Carl's going to knock all the leaves off the trees with come this Saturday. You know, G, I hope you're watching, because every time I think about a 4-vent horizontal muzzle brake, I think about G up on top of that tower with that 3.3 in the pool.
That was Patreon last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patreon last
year. But
guys,
that is a 24-inch barrel. Wow, I'm surprised.
Most accurate gas gun I've ever shot. So I was like, yeah, I need one. I need one. And guys, I put my money where my mouth is, and so it's not like, oh hey, this is a great gun, greatest, and do the video, shake hands, and then just give the gun back or do whatever, give it away. Nada. That's my new AR-10 rifle. It is, and ask Steve. It's all camera frogged up, and
Yeah,
it's ready to go.
Like I said, I'm not familiar with Adams Arms. I've seen advertisements whenever I'm doing my research on the internet, and again, Coach was talking to me about it at the Patreon course. It looks tight. I mean, it looks top quality.
It's got a really nice.
That's actually the first Adams Arms AR I've ever touched, and it looks tight. That's
sexy gun, sexy gun.
24 inches.
Sexy gun.
And not saying that. I mean, for a 6.5 PRC, if I had a bolt gun and 6.5 not PRC
6.5 Creedmoor,
6.5 Creedmoor, I would most likely run a 24-inch barrel on that bolt gun. If someone said, "Hey, would you like to review, try, test, or whatever you want to call it, a 6.5 Creedmoor AR-10?" I would probably say 22 inches on the barrel length, because to me, that's anything past 22 inches, unless you're burning a really good, efficient cartridge, is a waste of gunpowder, space, and weight.
Another cool thing about the Adams Arms specifically is because all their guns have got adjustable gas blocks on them, because so you can run them suppressed, run them unsuppressed, and everything. But from an accuracy standpoint, you can throw that gas lever all the way, and it's now a bolt gun.
Yeah, it's not going to cycle.
It does not cycle at all, so you don't have any. You're taking all the moving parts out of it. You still get the hammer, which is a big moving piece of metal, as opposed to a bolt gun that is just releasing a firing pin that is retained and going straight forward. All right, so that is a one thing that a gas gun has that is moving besides the gas itself. That big tomahawk in an AR system, and that's the truth. Gas guns are just not as accurate as bolt guns, because bolt guns literally don't have any moving parts. That sear drops, and the fire, and that is the only movement besides the finger coming back, because the firing pin is running directly in line with the center of the bullet, so it's not making the gun drift left, right, up, or down, where that hammer, as you throw that weight of the hammer coming up to hit the back of the firing pin, that amount of energy going this way is actually bringing the bottom of the gun down. Not much, but every moving part in a gun is a moving part. And you don't notice things like this when you're shooting 500 meters. You don't. But all these, there's a word for, when you start talking accuracy, you start talking with snipers, and there's one word that comes out. It's consistency, consistency, consistency. The more consistent that your ammo is, muzzle velocity wise, the more accurate your ammo is going to be. The more consistent the barrel is, the more accurate your gun's going to be. But more important is how consistent the mammal that you hook on the back of the gun, because if he's got his head here one time and his head's like this another time, and the third time it's like this, that's called parallax, all right? But if he's elbows like this one time, and now he's elbow in like this, and he's having to tense that bicep, you understand, or he's loading the bipod more with one shot, less with another, he doesn't have consistent pressure on the back of the gun. Those small things that are not consistent, that gun moves ever so much before that bullet exits the barrel, and you don't have consistency anymore. This has got the most moving parts of anything else on that weapon system. It does. So you can buy accurate ammo, you can buy accurate gun, but I can take a accurate sniper and put him behind a $300 Winchester 30-06, and he is going to outshoot Joe Schleprock that you put behind a $5,000 Accuracy International simply because he has the fundamentals down, right? Can't stress that enough.
Good example was when I talk about reloading the 270 Winchester for Jay Johnson, and he had a Remington 700 ADL blind box magazine, paid $325 for up in Michigan, about 20 years before he brought the rifle out to the range, and I reloaded some 270, and he shot a 3-inch group under the size of a nickel. $325 rifle. We're not talking about glass bedded. We're not talking about blueprinted. We're not talking about, you know, a jewel trigger. It was just off the shelf from Walmart. And as Carl said, the human body is a dynamic system. It's a hydraulic system. It's in motion all the time. From the moment while you're in your mom's, like when you come out and they spank you, it's like, ah! So it's always in motion. And Mr. White used to tell me all the time, you can't hold a half minute. You can hold a half minute sometimes, but your body is in motion. You know, and I always look back and when I think about Mr. White, and at the time we got the camera. I was a master sniper trainer for 5th Group under the master trainer program that Special Forces had. You had the master trainer for.
You didn't even know Mr. White till you got the Campbell.
Right. Yeah.
You didn't.
No.
I knew Mr. White before Steve did. That's so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
I want to say 1996 because I started hunting with them in 1997. So I was out watching them one day.
I knew Mr. White in '88.
See,
Wow.
you got me.
I got you.
You got me.
I got Mr. White. Mr. White, just one of the best marksmanship instructors you'll ever meet. But yeah, may he rest in peace.
Oh, he's not resting in peace. He's with the angels, man. He's out doing God's work. When I got here, being a master sniper trainer, and 1st Battalion was here first, so I said, 1st Battalion, give me your status on all your snipers. When the last time they did sustainment training and everything, all the numbers were like way up here. I said, ain't no freaking way. Ain't no freaking way. You guys just plugging this stuff in.
Yeah.
They said, no, we're going through the marksmanship training unit.
Marksmanship,
White. So
Mr. White,
maybe 7 to 8 months, all this stuff is going on. I said, you know what? I need to go out here to this sniper range, or range 2, and meet this Mr. White.
Yeah, range 2. I remember back.
Range 2 shooting houses.
Two little shoot houses. Yeah.
So I drive out there one day to lunch.
Pop-ups out to 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards.
So I drive out there one day, and his assistant, what was his name?
A little skinny white guy.
Always had fishing lures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, trying to sell you fishing lures.
Always wore cowboy boots with his jeans tucked inside of them.
Yeah. And so I walked up to him. I said, hey, Mr. White, I'm Sergeant Holland from 5th Group. He goes, no. I'm not your White. I go, okay. I said, well, where's Mr. White? He goes, that guy over there. I go, look here. I go, but
that's a black guy.
He's black.
He's black, but his name is White. Yeah.
So I never ever met a marksmanship shooter instructor in my career other than myself. And one guy I met at Camp Perry, that was a black guy. So I automatically made the error that said, you must be Mr. White. And I walked over and said, Mr. White, how you doing? Glad to meet you. So I said, hey, you mind if I watch?
Yeah.
You know, because I got this thing in my head.
Yeah.
You know, this guy can't be everything that they've been telling me he is.
You just can't. You can't.
That day on range 2, then we went to range 16 on the KD range. And I got there, they were at the 300, got to the 600 on the second rotation. I'm watching. And he's spotting for one of the students. And the guy shoots, and Mr. White goes, call it. Guy goes, oh, straight away, Mr. White. Mr. White goes, that's going to be about 7 o'clock in the 8 or 9 range. Target comes back up, 7 o'clock in the 8 or 9 range. Now, I'm looking at this guy, and I said, no way, because he wasn't even in the scope. You know, he had those big God scopes. Yeah. And then the guy shot again, call it, this right here. I said, nope, that's 10 o'clock in the 8 range. And he's never even looking, he's not watching trace.
Yeah, he's not watching trace.
So I said, Mr. White, I got a question for you. You're not watching trace? He goes, no, son, I'm not. I go, so how did you able to talk? He goes, I'm watching his body. He said, I'm watching his body, and I'm watching his muzzle. Mm-hmm. And then he went into like an hour dissertation of the mechanics of the body and how it affects everything. And I've been the master sniper trainer for 5th Group for probably about 7 years.
Yeah.
And when he finished that dissertation, I said, Mr. White, can I take your class? Can I sign up for your next class? Because he taught me more in that hour about body movement and body reaction to the shot that it just hadn't clicked over in my head yet. And I said, you know what? He's absolutely right. You know,
Mr. White started us off, and his whole thing was you'll learn how to use a bipod, a shooting sock. You'll learn how to do all that when you get to your unit. That's taking shortcuts. You had to learn like shooting
Sling
glove locked in with a sling, unsupported with that M21, Accurized M14. You wore the leather Olympic shooting jacket with the glove. I'm not joking. And but he would tell us when he learned how to shoot. He was assigned down at Fort Benning, the Army Marksmanship Unit, after Vietnam, before Vietnam, whatever it was. And he went to the Olympics, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, he did.
He was on the team, and they would go out to the range every day, sun up to sundown. They'd break for lunch. They'd go to the range, and all they did was a service rifle, single shot, all day long. And he was on the team 30 days, 5 days a week, in the morning and afternoon shooting, before they gave him any live ammo. He dry fired for 30 days just for him to master the trigger squeeze and because the bullets hide your mistakes. The recoil hides all the mistakes that you make. He dry fired for a freaking month before they gave him the first bullet. And you can tell, you can tell. So anyways, I learned a lot from Mr. White. And guys, I went to 2nd ID Sniper School. I went to 101st Sniper School. I went to the Department of the Army Sniper School down at Fort Benning, Georgia. I went to Special Operations Target Interdiction course at Fort Campbell. And then you start getting into all these other law enforcement and civilian precision rifle courses that I've been to. I've been to a lot of courses. I learned how to shoot accurate from Mr. White. All the other schools taught me how to do shortcuts. And I learned tactics. I learned sniping. I learned target detection. I learned all kinds of stuff. Camouflage, for sure. Hide sights, movement, stalking. I learned all of that in these other shooting courses, but I learned how to shoot accurately from Mr. White, a 30-day course, the 101st Advanced Marksmanship course. It wasn't even called a sniper school.
Well, J.D. Watson threw down 10 bones. He said he's got you and me both beat. Mr. Joe White was my instructor at the 101st Sniper School in 1981.
Nice. You do have me beat?
He said he's got the trophies to prove it.
Very, very cool.
You go, JD. I hear you talking, player.
All right.
I hear you talking, player.
All right. I got one here. This is from Tony Dodson. I have trouble figuring out the super chat, but I have been wanting to ask Carl what he thinks that the new TR1 A1 rifle will be available. I know it is something he's working on with a different company than the original TR1 company. So I was wondering if you could pass it along. All right, do you mind asking him, please? All right, real quick, guys, a update on the original TR1 rifle that was made by Tactical Edge. Don't get me started on them. And guys, it's still to this day the most accurate AR rifle I've ever shot. I mean, the best quality. 13.7-inch pin barrel. It's just a joy to shoot. It's a great gun. The problem though was they took pre-orders from you guys, from a lot of you guys, and they took all that money, bought CNC machines so they could do contracts for like Daniel Defense and everything else. Don't get me started, but basically, long story, over a year ago, I told them to quit taking orders. I made them pull it off the website. but there are guys that have ordered TR1 rifles over a year and a half ago. We're talking 2022, and they still haven't gotten their guns. They still haven't gotten their guns yet. So last update I got text from Bobby saying they're finished up all the guns. The guns are done. They had their FFL, their big problem with a bunch of FFLs in Clarksville, Tennessee, all getting pulled by the ATF. They are getting all the final rifles out. I'll believe it when I see it, because I just had another guy reach out to me, and same thing. They don't even answer his phone calls. So anyways, as much as I love that gun, to all of you that got screwed over, I want to apologize. They make great guns. I didn't know anything about their customer service or their work ethic, so I apologize for that. That said, I had always said that if I was going to do a second version of the rifle, I wanted to go with a piston. That way, if guys wanted to run it suppressed, full-time suppressed, or running a suppressor a lot, it's better to have a adjustable gas block and have it be piston. So I am working with another company, and we are working out the final details. And the hard part right now, just like it was 2 years ago with Tactical Edge, is Surefire, because I still want a 13.7-inch barrel, which means you've got to pin and weld the muzzle device. Surefire has got this flash hider called the War Comp, and it's being ran by US SOCOM. It allows them to put the Surefire suppressor on them. It's still, it's more like a bird cage. It gets rid of the flash. All right, the flash is less detectable from the sides than a lot of the other guns are. But I told Steve, I just sent another email to Barry Duke at Surefire. He's the VP of the suppressor division, and he hasn't answered me back. And that is, you understand, that is a big holdup. The other holdup is the low receiver. I want certain things to be ambidextrous on it, and so anyways, we're working through a few last things. So I would love to say that this thing will be 2024, early first half of 2024, they will become available, hopefully, inshallah, God willing. But I can't do it till we work through these last little things, because I told them they're not taking orders for guns. They're not. They're going to make the guns, and then they can sell them. But I'm not doing this bullshit again where they take your money and then say, hey, we'll get you your gun when it's ready. Oh, and by the way, we won't give you any refunds if it's more than a year wait. To me, that's bad business.
K. Harrison threw down $9.99.
We appreciate Karen doing that. We really do. J.D. Watson, 10 bones. I got you both beat. Oh, well, you already read that one. And then Karen threw down, 9. The inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Great team. All right, Karen, you know you're awesome. You know you are. Hey, guys, we are 2 hours and 40 minutes into this live stream. I know it's a Wednesday night. We only got 180 people here. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. I want to remind everybody, next Tuesday, that's 6 days away, we're going to do this at the Leatherwood Distillery.
Clarksville?
Clarksville, Tennessee, right outside Fort Campbell, Kentucky. So if you are in the area, it's about 50 minutes north of Nashville. So if you're in the area, you want to come, we'd love to have you guys come visit, hang out with us. Indeed. I want to, again, invite you guys, hey, check out all these shorts, these YouTube shorts that my son has been posting. My son has been taking all of our old YouTube videos and pulling 1 minute shorts out of it. And we went from doing 600,000 views a month to, as of right now, in the last 28 days, we are 9 million 9 million views in the last 28 days, guys. That's not too bad. And I owe that to you guys for actually watching them. So, but if you want to help me, if you want to continue to help, share them with other people. Comment. If you're going to comment, it has to be over 4 words to count as a comment on their list, whatever. No big deal. No big deal. Again, if you're interested in taking the high-risk travel course, again, the class is only half full. I don't know why. Why I understand it's December, so everybody's spending their money on Christmas presents and stuff. But this is the gift of knowledge, And if you're wanting to go, invite your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your boyfriend, your significant other, your son, your daughter, your father. I had no joke, at last high-risk travel class, I had a son come and he brought his mother with him. And it was awesome. It was awesome. And so anyways, those slots are still available, tacticalrifleman.com. Good stuff indeed. I want to thank Donut for running the chat room tonight. I want to thank my son for passing questions on to me. For my other moderators that couldn't make it tonight. For Marie and Susan that are hard at work over there in Australia.
Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi. Say hello to your families over there. I want to give a shout out again to Go Dark Bags. Guys, look at this thing, right? This is the perfect size for that iPhone. You don't want to get tracked. You don't want anything like that. Guys, it blocks Wi-Fi. It blocks your 4G, 5G, blocks all your cell phone signals, unauthorized access, location tracking, all that stuff. But it also protects for that EMP. And if you guys haven't gotten smart on EMP, maybe I need to do a video on that because everybody just goes, well, Carl, if there's an EMP, nothing's going to work. We're all going to be cavemen. So it doesn't matter what apps you have on your phone. If there's an EMP, you're screwed. Guys, that is so not the case. Don't get me wrong. If your phone is plugged into the wall, charging, when the EMP hits at night, if it hits at night, it hits the grid and goes down. It'll fry your phone. So you charge your phone. Once your phone is charged, you take it off the charger. If you're really worried about an EMP, you should be charging it from a remote battery. All right. And yes, if you're within so many miles of ground zero, when the EMP goes off at so many miles above wherever, you're screwed. But you understand, it's once those ripples go out, the further away. You understand, if they drop an EMP over Kansas, most of the people in Canada and Mexico and Texas and Florida, they're good, guys. They're good. They're good. They're fine. They're completely fine. EMP is not going to bother the whole planet. It's not magic. So protect yourself. But maybe I need to do a video on that. Maybe I do, because there's a lot of people that are, it just destroys everything. It's not. There are certain precautions that you should take, and one of them right off the bat, guys, Go Dark Bags. Go Dark Bags. GoDarkBags.com. I can't stress it enough. When they're actually sponsoring this Friday's video also with those plates. When I heard that they wanted to work with us, I was like, yes, send me some of your products because you've got some badass stuff. Here's another cool one for you guys. Protect that laptop, right? Protect the laptop. Guys, it still fits inside your computer bag, right? But it's good stuff. GoDarkBags.com. All right. I want to thank Steve for coming on tonight.
I want to give a quick shout out to Miss Kay Walton for her intuitive imagination and all the things that she did for the instructors at the Patreon course, to include Halloween and the pumpkins.
She made us pumpkins, guys, that look like us. So like Emery's had a beard and Coach had a white goatee, and funny stuff. You gotta zoom in on some of them, dude. Yeah, funny stuff. Funny stuff. Of course, Steve's had black sunglasses. Funny stuff. Yeah, Carrie Walton, you're awesome. Please say hi to your husband Steve for us. Steve, you're awesome for being able to put up with Carrie, because Carrie's awesome, but Carrie's a nutbag just like the rest of us.
Here's Carl's pumpkin.
With Carrie, that's Carrie. She's the one that made the pumpkins for us. Carrie's awesome, and she is one of those angels that has just dedicated herself
That's Emery's
to
pumpkin?
helping everybody else feel better.
Yeah, I think Coach was the one that stood out the most.
Yep, without
That
a
was
doubt. Without a doubt. All right, guys. Parting words of wisdom, Steve.
Be without fear in the face of your enemies, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Be brave and upright, that God may love thee. Speak the truth, even if it leads to your death. Safeguard the helpless. Protect the Constitution. Protect the country.
Word to your mother.